Hey guys, welcome back to Harmon Homestead. We are in our pasture garden this morning and we are going to start thinning some things out. I've got corn, bush beans, all that good stuff. I'm going to show you how to thin it out, what to do, and give you an update. Alright guys, our corn is doing awesome. We need to fertilize this corn. A lot of it is already past the stage of fertilization or what they recommend, but we have had no rain in 14 days plus, and still no rain for the next 10 days is what's being forecasted. So I've already went through here and thinned a lot of this out. The reason you want to do that is corn, well, it needs all the nutrients it can get. These little pieces right here will rob corn, the bigger plant, of nutrients, because this is pulling nutrients too. Now I've already thinned this once, but everything is still growing in between it. So I've got a little basket here. I'm saving everything that I'm pulling to give to the chickens. They love it. But I'm just trying to eyeball through here and see what I've got. I sure don't want this little thing to take nutrients from this. So normally right now we would have already laid it by. That is where you literally dig a trench beside the corn, put down fertilizer, but if you do that, it must have water behind it from what I've been told, because if not, it can burn the corn up, and we don't want to put fertilizer on this with no rain coming. So we're just in a bad spot here. I'm trying to make sure my corn is a foot in between each plant, and I literally just lay down my foot and see, try to space it out. Some of it looks fine, but a lot of these will, okay, here's a good example where I thinned it out. I cut it with these little scissors here, but it's already grown right back up. So I'm just trying to pull this corn out, especially right now when there's no rain. You can see where the ground's cracked and the corn's come up. It is desperately needing water. Where this pasture garden is at, it is not close to any type of water. So I don't know what we're going to do, guys, but look at that. I've already cut that once and it's still just growing. There's a good example. There's your kernel, roots, stem, and leaves. And you can see where that one had already been cut. This is peaches and cream corn. Last year I did not fertilize any corn. Well, I think we've already talked about this on one video. I said, I don't want to do that. I thought that it would grow, and it did without being fertilized. But let me tell you, this stuff this year, there is no comparison, y'all. When you fertilize something, it will grow. Alright guys, we've got our corn thinned out again. This down here we did the other day. It's looking great. The okra is still so small. I'm just going to wait until it grows up a little bit more. Cucumbers doing awesome. Who would have thought cucumbers would have done well growing in this dirt? But guys, we've got little cucumbers everywhere. They're just sprawling across the ground, so that's what we like to see. Tomato plants taking off. We just desperately need water on those. But I am highly shocked at the cucumbers. We got some Cherokee bush pumpkins doing well. We've got some, let's see here, zucchini. You can see him right there. Squash. Let's see. Little scallop squash down in there. Looking great. Dixie hybrid squash doing well. Look at that scallop squash. I mean, they are doing good. My vertical squash is making it's just, time will tell if it does well in this pasture or not. Got 2 plants that don't look that great, but tomatoes are blooming. I need to put a cage back on that one, it blew off, but I mean, look at the tomato plants. Who would have thought these little transplants would have done this well down here? Bush beans, cowpeas, okra, and corn. Everything is looking great this morning. Alright guys, so we're back up at the house. I wanted to show you what we have growing in containers here on the patio. I have 3 zucchini plants. I really think those are hit or miss the way the leaves are yellowing. But we've got some scallop squash doing awesome, and some Dixie hybrid squash. These are all in the 2-gallon mop buckets from Dollar Tree. We've got a few cucumbers back there. They're doing okay. That was really just an experiment. But guys, this stuff has just exploded overnight. I've got some peaches and cream corn that I was going to try as just an experiment in the buckets. I'm going to thin that out probably tomorrow. Put 2 kernels to each bucket. Got contender bush beans here, doing great. And we have our asparagus beans. Look at that one. I mean, he is putting on runners, doing great. I've got to pull weeds in some of these buckets. All the bright blue buckets are my asparagus beans. Right here we have our Scarlet runner pole beans that are climbing up the yarn. Guys, look, they started blooming this morning. It's more of an orange color, orangey red. I really wouldn't even call it red. I'd say they have orange blooms, but guys, these are beautiful. And they're just climbing up the string, looking awesome. Our lemon trees are doing good. We've got a Meyer lemon here. Lemons are getting bigger every day. Our blueberry bushes. We've got blueberries that are ready, starting to get ready. And guys, this is the raised bed. I have got to thin this out for weeds, but my okra, it needs thinning, and it's just so small, and all the weeds around the okra, so I've got to do something about that. I'll probably thin it out and then hoe out the garden. Eggplants, they have been eaten by flea beetles. I've put 7 dust all over them. If anyone knows any trick, please let me know, because these are getting just attacked. Our zucchini is doing awesome. Awesome. I started all these from transplants indoors. I believe I have 2 per hill. I mean, look at the size of the leaves. This is my hand compared to the leaf. I mean, it's crazy. We have zucchini all over it. I mean, guys, look at this one. We'll be eating zucchini this week. These tomatoes, these are Everglades cherry tomatoes. They're out of control. I mean, out of control. I couldn't even keep them staked with the cages. I'm gonna have to do something. I did not know how big these would get, but apparently it says that they'll get 4 feet wide and 10 foot tall if you let them. So do not plant them. These are 3 feet apart. Don't do it. You might need one every 5 feet or more, 6 feet. I mean, guys, it's just a learning experience, but this is crazy. Blooming like crazy. I've got little tomatoes everywhere. If you can see right here, let me try to get closer. I mean, look at that. It's crazy. I cannot get over the size of these bushes. Look at the zucchini. I mean, we are cooking. Cooking. Contender bush beans, and look what started this morning. Got little purple blooms everywhere. They are loaded. Loaded with blooms. Vertical squash. This is the Smooth Criminal Straight Neck vertical squash we got from Victory Seed Company. The very bottom squash had blossom end rot, but the taller the stem grows vertically, I'm not having any more trouble. So we have, I mean, squash everywhere. We'll be eating this week, and I love how it is actually growing vertically. The stem just goes up. See our tomatoes, and all that is the vertical squash. More blooms. Our okra. I may try to do this afternoon and try to get in here and thin some of this out and hoe it out. It's just, oh, it's just so slow to come up. But once it gets going, it's just really more than you can handle. It's just getting it there. This is the Alabama red okra that we're trying. And we've got rattlesnake pole beans that are beginning to come up. So we have our hands full, and this is just the raised bed. Here are some more of our containers. These are 3 eggplants. They have really taken off. We've got some peppers. I've planted more bush beans in the Dollar Tree stackable planters. They're coming up. This tomato was yellowing. Added some fertilizer to it, and it's doing better. It's still blooming. It's putting on tomatoes. This one right here is another Everglades. He is loaded with tomatoes. We've got some there. Look at the size of the center stalk. I mean, I couldn't even keep it trained in the cage. It just grew so fast. And I am actually unsure of what this one is, but look at the bloom. It looks like a sunflower. This one is totally awesome. I had so many varieties, guys. I just really forgot. This is our Geranium Kiss cherry tomatoes. More bush beans, peppers, tomatoes. More bush beans I planted. Those are starting to come up. And the stackable planters. Looking good. Look at this. I did a video, I think 2 weeks ago, on the Dollar Tree stackable planters for bush beans. It works. It really does work. Any day now we should have blooms open on these. I mean, it's just like a jungle here. Put some more there. I want you to see this okra we have. This is the Alabama red. And look at the size of this. This okra is coming on along. It actually looks better than what's in the garden. I planted it the exact same day. So we'll see how it produces. But I am extremely proud of this. Very proud of the Alabama red in the Dollar Tree containers. Got some more tomatoes. We've got pineapples in buckets. Those are actually yellowing. I'm going to try to get some fertilizer for these. I put triple 13 in there, but they're just starting to yellow. I've got to figure out what's going on. I've never grown a pineapple, but they're in, you can see, I mean, it's pretty fair sized buckets. So hopefully these will pull on through. And last but not least, I've got some more tomatoes growing in the 3-gallon. These two are actually Silvery fir tree tomatoes. And I love the leaves on these. I got these from M.I. Gardner. I will tell you guys, everything that I've bought from there seems to do well. So that and Victory Seed Company is the only 2 I can attest to, and both have done fine. So I've been pleased with both, especially with M.I. Gardner. It's only $2 for a seed packet. So if you want to try something kind of rare, then that's a good place to go to. All right, last but not least, we are on the front porch, and 8 days ago, I planted these containers, and they are all coming up great. These are Ford Hook lima beans that are bush beans. So this is just an experiment. I don't know if it works or not yet, but we're going to try this out in the stackable containers. I just love them because you can plant so much in such little space. So that's what we've got going on. We'll see you next time on Harmon Homestead.